right, hello. Just explaining a bicep routine that I did on, let's see here, 6/5/2025. So the first workout that I did two workouts, did one in the morning and then one in the evening. The first one I did was circuit style and with 3 movements. Kept the same weight for the whole time, just changed the rep scheme. So what I did was I did reverse barbell curls, supinated barbell curls, and then hammer bar curls. I only used 35 pounds, but towards the end it was enough. My biceps are actually still sore today. So first set I did 12 reps, second set I did 8, then 4, then 2, and then at the end there I kind of felt like I had some more gas in the tank, I guess you could say. So I wanted to do some more sets, so I went ahead, I did 4 reps, and that felt okay. And then I kind of wanted to finish off, so I did 6 reps, and I think that was perfect. So towards the end of that, I was pretty fatigued, I guess. My arms were pretty pumped up as well. And I did use the BFR bands on this. If you've never used the BFR bands, might as well go get them so I can show them to you here. So I'll be right back. Just take a second. So all they are is they're just blood flow restriction bands, what the term means. Now they're just an elastic band, and you set it in the cuff here. Now the main thing is, and I do recommend researching these before you try them, you want to use these correctly. You don't want to cut off. It does say it's blood flow restriction, not cutting it off completely. So you want to restrict it just enough to where you're getting a pump quicker. So you don't want to restrict it so much to where like it causes pain, like a bunch of discoloration, nothing like that. So what I set mine to is it's marked. I just set it to 7, and 7 for me works pretty well. You can see my arms aren't that big, so you don't want to set these too tight. So, and you don't want to leave them on too long either. So for me, I typically leave them on for about 10 minutes. I have left them on for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I don't feel that length of time is necessary. I believe in 10 minutes, if you're working hard, that is sufficient enough time for these. I think the maximum time is around 30 minutes. But don't quote me on that. I'm no expert by any means. So definitely research these before you use them. Don't just take my word for it. I'm just kind of telling you what I do. And yeah, these are pretty effective when you don't have a lot of time and you don't want to pile on the weight. You can get a pump quicker using lighter weights. But like I said, the key is getting the right setting on these to where they're not too tight, not too loose. But it's better if they're too loose than too tight, because you can cause damage to your body if they're too tight. Cutting off blood circulation is never a good idea, and these are just supposed to restrict, not cut it off. So make sure that if you use these, that's what you're doing. Don't cut it off, restrict it. So enough about that. I've been rambling on long enough. So that's what I did for my first workout. Was just a circuit style giant set. Just enough rest here to document, and then got right back into it. So once again, started with the reverse curl, went straight to the supinated, and then to the hammer, and then just did it all over again. So I did a total of 6 sets. 6 sets total, or 6 rounds, whatever you want to call it. Later in the evening, I came back and I did, for my biceps, concentration curls, and I actually decided to work up to a heavy weight for me. May not be heavy for any of you, but so I started out with 8 reps, 3 reps, 2 reps, 2 reps, and then just did 1 rep with 60 pounds. I think it was a decently clean rep. I don't think there was much cheating involved. And like I said, I think I could have went a little heavier with my right arm, but I'm trying to keep my arms equal. So my left arm was pretty, that was pretty maximum weight for my left arm. So I decided to call it for that. And then I just did a couple down sets, 5 reps and then 12 reps. So nothing too crazy. Got some volume in. And like I said, my biceps are still sore today. So I think that was a sufficient workout. So I liked the hammer curls. I need to keep doing those. And the reverse curls. I really feel that those are pretty potent for forearm gains. And that's what I'm going for, forearm gains. I want my biceps to grow too, but my forearms are what I enjoy training the most, so that's what I'm going for there. I also did some grip training on this day. So I started out with the Finnish ball. I have shown this one before, but I'll just show it again, just in case you haven't seen the other video. And it's just key pinch style. So my index finger smashed up against it, and then my thumb. So a lot of the tension is in my thumb. Of course, my index finger has some tension too, but it's like a key pinch, so your thumb is really stressed on that one. At least mine is anyways. That could be because I have a weak thumb, but so that's the Finnish ball. Just did high reps for that, 12. And next I did the index finger. Oh, and this is I got this from the armassassinstrengthshop.com, Finnish ball. And this handle I don't think is available anymore. I got this one from shortsteelbending.com. I don't think they have it anymore, but this one, it's not a lot of people do single finger lifts, and this I did an index finger lift. If you've never done single finger lifts, always start light with those. You don't want to cause injury to your fingers, because that can cause long-term problems, and then your grip is ruined the rest of your life. So if you try single digit lifts, I recommend building up a base, a very good base, with higher reps first, and lower weight. I don't really recommend maxing out on these right away. I have torn my skin on my finger. Luckily, that's all that happened, because that can heal. But you can also cause like nerve damage or tendon damage, and you don't want to do that. So definitely, if you've never done these lifts, start light. If you listen to one thing I say, make that it, because trust me, you don't want to cause nerve damage to your hand or tendon damage. Nerve damage, I think, takes longer to heal, if it even heals at all. So that's definitely something that you don't, and I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty certain that is correct. That's something you don't want to happen. So definitely be careful with these types of lifts. So like I said, what I did was high reps, and that's that. So it's 12 reps, nothing too crazy. Used my index finger. I feel like that's one of my weaker fingers, so that's the reason I chose the index. So I'm just trying to strengthen that finger up. My pinky's also weak too, but I didn't do that on this training day. So the last thing I did was the wrist wrench. And this I got from Amazon. So if you just look up wrist wrench on Amazon, you can find this. I kind of forgot the company that makes them, but it seems to be pretty high quality. I've had this tool for, I think, at least 5 years now. Probably longer than that, but it's held up since then. So It seems to be a pretty quality tool. Hasn't fallen apart. But the wrist wrench, you just roll it up to where it wants to pull out of your hand like that. You can also do it the other way too, but it doesn't feel like it does much to me. So I don't ever really use it that way. I have seen other people use it that way. I think you can use significantly heavier weight that way, but I just don't know what purpose it would serve. So I'm not one to really ask about that. I just know that this way it wants to pull your wrist open. So if you try to flex your wrist and squeeze at the same time, it's pretty useful in just building up your wrist and your grip kind of at the same time. So that's why I like this tool. You can get two things done in one. So nothing too fancy with that. Just roll it up and pick it up. You can also do like wrist curls with it as well. But I just did a lift with it this day, and same thing, just higher reps, 12 reps. And that is it. So just a pretty decent bicep routine. Like I said, my biceps are still sore. So I may have overdone it just a tad. Because I don't like to be sore longer than a couple days. And I guess the onset, it's a delayed onset muscle soreness, so you don't have any soreness till a couple days later. So I guess maybe hopefully by tomorrow my biceps aren't overly sore, because I'd like to do some pull-ups again. But we'll see. So like I said, if you have any questions, comments, tips, anything like that, or any let's say you got a bicep routine that you like to do, go ahead and share it if you don't mind. And because I'm always looking for ideas for different workouts. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.